Back in the day, I used to have one of those heat-changing mugs where you added hot water to it, an image of the world would appear. Now, I'd not had this mug long before it accidentally ended up in the dishwasher. And as you can imagine, when it came out the dishwasher, that image of the world was cracked, was distorted, it was broken. In these days, as we battle COVID-19, we're especially aware of the brokenness of the world. As our nation lives in lockdown, as family and friends mourn loved ones, as the NHS fights on, we do so united with our global family. And we do so recognising that still the brokenness of poverty, of famine and war continues to destroy many lives. But in that brokenness, I would encourage you that this Good Friday to pause, to reflect, to pray. When children learn what happened on that first Good Friday, they often ask, why is it good then? If we had been there on that first Good Friday, when Jesus of Nazareth was mocked, beaten and crucified between two thieves, the scene would have been horrific. Our eyes would have seen blood, sweat and tears. Our ears would have heard the hammering of nails and ear-piercing screams. Our nose would have smelt fear. Our lips would have tasted death, and our sense of touch would be shaken. Yet, it is through that scene of devastation and brokenness that humanity received salvation. It is through that brokenness that the world was put back together again. It is through that brokenness that we could know love. That familiar tale of a baby laid in a manger in Bethlehem, visited by shepherds and wise men, is nice and comforting and totally transformed the world. As Jesus was born, Emmanuel, God with us. Astounding miracles, inspirational preaching and sacrificial living define Jesus' life. But then those child-friendly stories were over, and a violent, cruel death, brought on by a rogue court case, seemed to seal the fate of this man from Nazareth. An increasing number of people were beginning to recognise Jesus as their saviour. They were beginning to put their trust in him. And then it all seemed to fall apart. But it is through that brokenness that wholeness came. As Jesus cried, "Father, into your hands I commit my spirit," and as the veil was torn in two, the gates to God's presence were open to all humanity. What's not good about that? Through the brokenness of Christ, humanity was made whole. Kintsugi, or golden joinery, is this Japanese art of putting broken pottery pieces back together with gold. Built on the idea that it's through embracing flaws and imperfections that you can create an even stronger, more beautiful piece of art. We live as broken people in a broken world. We all have flaws and imperfections, but into our world, the only sinless, perfect human to ever live, hung and died on a cross, so that we could be a stronger, more beautiful piece of art. This Good Friday, I imagine that your mind is overwhelmed with conflicting emotions. There will be tears of sorrow, but smiles of joy. But however broken you are feeling today, I want you to know that there is one who knows all your past breakages, all your present cracks, and died on a cross so that you could be whole in him. John 3 verses 16 to 17 in the Message paraphrase say this: "This is how much God loved the world. He gave his Son, his one and only Son. And this is why, so that no one need be destroyed. By believing in him, anyone can have a whole and lasting life. God didn't go to all the trouble of sending his Son merely to point an accusing finger, telling the world how bad it was. He came to help, to put the world right again." You are loved by the one who created you. You are forgiven by the one who knows every thought that crosses your mind. You are saved by the one who knows your deepest need. Let me share with you some words from a favourite song of mine by Matt Redman. Jesus Christ, I think upon your sacrifice. You became nothing, poured out to death. Many times I've wondered at your gift of life, and I'm in that place once again. And once again I look upon the cross where you died. I'm humbled by your mercy, and I'm broken inside. Once again I thank you. Once again I pour out my life. Now you are exalted to the highest place, King of the heavens, where one day I'll bow. But for now, I'll marvel at your saving grace, and I'm full of praise once again. I pray today that as you look upon the cross once again, or perhaps for the very first time, that you will be full of praise for the one who loves you more than you could ever know. And now we wait, because it's Friday, but Sunday's coming. Be blessed today and always.